Take over. Hey Dan, what's going on this hot Wednesday in SoCal?
Hi Scott, it is such a hot Wednesday in SoCal, and our good buddy Brad is having a little bit of a electricity problem, so he's not joining us, but it's sweltering nonetheless. Welcome to our Wednesday Q&A webinar. Pleasure to have so many interested new faces, or ears in this case, Scott. Barry, thank you for again being able to be here while, excuse me, our good buddy Brad is not available. So Barry will be fielding most of the questions while I speak. I'll try to answer the ones that I can get to, and again, we'll just continue. Before we begin, we do our standard disclaimer. Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. All the information that you're going to hear from myself, Barry, Scott, or any team member of Trade Ideas should not be construed as investment advice. If you're seeking specific investment advice for yourself, please consult a registered investment advisor. Okay, so once again, so many people are here, do not have a subscription, and maybe you want to know who we are. We're the leader in financial technology on the planet Earth. For 17 years, we've been developing an advanced real-time data monitoring engine. It's what powers the Trade Ideas servers as they watch every single stock, looking for unusual, interesting opportunities that you can take advantage of. We've been powered specifically by your subscription dollars, no venture capital raised here, the old-fashioned way, making a business by having it be profitable. It's this new thing that was popular once, many eons ago, but got substituted for hyper growth and never making money. We have been on the Inc. 5000 list. This is going to be our fourth year on it, and one of the very few companies that have ever done that. It's the fastest growing privately held company, specifically because of your subscription dollars. So you guys make it all happen, and we, using your subscription dollars, continue to innovate at a breakneck speed. One of the really cool things about this is we have fun with it, and with the stock market, you're really going to get to know yourself in a way that you might have never ever learned about yourself, because when money's put on the table, you know, all the bad things come out. But the great part is that if you can master some of these emotional pulls that you're going to have, you end up realizing that, of course, it's not that difficult. That is the beauty. And I'm sure if Brad was here, I would simply say that we repeat a common theme, which is the professional athletes who are very good at what they do. They don't necessarily struggle at being great. They just enjoy it and are in a flow state. And this is the same thing. Trade Ideas is designed to bring you closer to that flow state in the stock market, because when you embrace the data in a Trade Ideas environment, you're gonna see the market in a completely new way. Stocks are going to become these different things, and I'm going to dive into it. And one of the great pleasures that I enjoy is being able to share a user experience that's just my own, my specific one, but yet one that pulls kind of the nuggets of wisdom out of the experience to create the user interface to help us move the technology forward. And again, I trade an account that's like an account that normal people trade. It's under 100,000, and I show you guys what I do and how I do it. And I talk about the fact that many people make this very common mistake nowadays, that they approach the market with this: all right, I'm getting in, getting rich. I'm buying the next Amazon, I'm buying the next Apple, bada bing, bada bang, and it's this one, and that's it. But of course, that's not how it works. It has never worked that way. And the few lucky people that can get into an Apple very long term, there's countless people that try to do it with some other name, and it never ever worked. So what Trade Ideas does, ladies and gentlemen, is we have a fully simulated trading environment built in here that shows you how to work with your money. I'm going to demonstrate it to you shortly, but it really allows you to have a look inside the software in a way that that you've never addressed the market before, because it's focused on profits and losses, your own. We don't spend time doing squiggly lines. I'm going to exit out of the PowerPoint. I'll come back to it. We don't do squiggly line stuff. You know, lots of people want every single indicator that you could possibly have. We actually keep it kind of simple. We have a channel bar right here. It's a really cool way to interface with the stock market because we have expertly created channels. And if I actually move my trade ideas trading over for a second, I'll just show you that these channels are designed to get you exactly where you need to go without having to do any work. So, for example, here's a channel on stocks that are surging, and sure enough, okay, you're going to see stocks that are surging. And the percentage returns that exist in the stock market are far beyond anything that anyone's ever told you about. You can forget real estate, you can forget any other business. This is the hidden gem of a capitalistic experience, because the stock market is liquid. It means that people like yourself and myself who aren't trading billions of shares, but you can trade stocks in the tens of thousands, even in the hundreds of thousands of shares, completely easy, one-click purchase type of thing. It's an incredible place to be and see things that most people just never get to see. But again, here you can see 23%. And again, the channel is just called surging stocks. I mean, something big is going on, okay? But there's tons of different channels there. Momo, momentum, allows you to kind of dive into what's really moving in a way that is very specific to a momentum type of player's eyes. And again, you can see this in the pattern. You can see what's going on here. And the thing that I would like to just continue to say is that remember that I didn't do anything to set this up. Okay, I'm going to now turn something else on called idea surfing. Okay, and this allows you as a first experiencer of trade ideas to get to a channel. Okay, and notice that while my mouse is over here, just looking around stuff, the channel is surfing. It is idea surfing. In other words, it's going through various names and just, you know, letting you see things that it thinks that you ought to maybe take a look at. And here you can see which thing it's looking at when it gets to the specific thing. But once again, the important part is your eyes. They cannot escape this if you're using this properly. And I didn't have to really do anything except to turn it on. If I switch another channel, the same thing will happen. But once you see something that you like, and just for some reason, I'm picking CNET, China Net Online Holdings, because it made this very, very big move, 55% today, 3 times normal volume. So once again, we focus on things that are unusual. So we have this metric called the relative volume indicator, where you can see quickly, is this something where something unusual is going on? Because that's what you want to be checking out. So the channel bar is a very convenient way to dissect the market depending on what is your style. And the convenience is that for specific things like earnings, we have a channel that is already pre-set up and can show you everything that has to do with the earnings for this specific period when something is happening, okay? And whether it happened very recently. So you don't have to go digging. You can just quickly see, well, what's going on and where is there momentum? Something like this, CCL. My eyes instantly focus on the fact that you have these 1 spike, 2 spikes, 3 spikes. Very recently, 1, 2, 3. And big volume coming in. So I just let my software help me by setting up, right click and setting up an alert. This is me, not the software, but just visually saying, looks like a spike. There looks like there was a little bit of an internet hiccup. Are you guys able to hear me? Okay, great. Sorry, guys. Whatever it is that's going on in California with the fires or whatnot, I don't know, but the internet kind of just had a hiccup. So I'm once again just showing you various windows, various ways that the software can be seen. In this particular case, somebody pointed out that ADES was moving after hours. Well, one of the ways you can know that, okay, is you can scroll down to, I always do this, I always blow by it. Where did the after hours channel go? It's coming in there. Oh, here it is, after hours, yikes. Okay, and here you go. ADES instantly as the first name. And another one is AMAG, and pharmaceutical plays play like this, okay? Notice the 42% gainers, okay? And these are just all post-market moves happening as they happen. This is what we specialize in, the real-time data. If I see something and I like it for some reason, I can quickly like it, just like I would like a social media post. And we did this so that it is that familiar to you. And as soon as that happens, I'll show you what happens afterwards. So here's another example. I'm just picking up the stock DTIL. I'm going to say I like it. I'm going to scroll down to the channel bar and to a channel called Stocks I Like. And now all these stocks that I have chosen, for whatever reason I have chosen them, are in here. And by the way, this CTIC is something that I've been what about now? What about now? What about now? Yikes. Hey guys, again, not the best of the internet connection right now. So we went over the channels, and what we're known for in the world is the AI that does all the entries. AI not and for every single trade, you're going to have an entry price, an exit price, a stop price, and an exit. And there's different ways that the exits are figured out. But right here in the columns, this is sort of a way to understand what's going on, but as it happens, it would happen in real time. So today, all the trades that took place starting 5 minutes after the open was the first trade, then 4 minutes after that, the next one, then roughly 7 minutes after that, the next one, 10 minutes, then 30 minutes later, then an hour, and then a minute after, and that was it. And all of this is done by server-based AI that's working right now. Quick audio check. I'm assuming I'm on because it said that it was back on, right? So this channel is called the Omni AI. Okay, thank you guys, I appreciate that. Okay, it's one of the channels in here, and it's the cumulative view of all the AIs together. Okay, this is sort of the core of our tech, but there's much in here that is in every single other part of the technology as well. So first, for Krish, the answer is yes, there's an entry, an exit, a time of entry. There, you can even have the system re-enter for you. And one of the most important parts, guys, okay, is that all of this can be done for you in simulated mode. In other words, you can learn to work with the AI and learn to manage your expectations by letting the AI simulate a trade, its entries, and you can interact with it, and it will give you the kind of feedback to know if this is something that you would do, or if you feel comfortable with, or do you have to take a different approach. And again, AI-based signals aren't for everybody, but this is what everybody wants. Okay? You ultimately have to make whatever decision you make to get into a stock. Once you make it, the trade is on. You know, you can really forget about all the other stuff, because from that point of view, you just have to manage your risk. So today overall, there was a very small loss in the AI, and this is kind of what it looked like. Okay, this one trade was the good one, and there's different ways that you can manage the trades too. Once again, you are not obligated to exit exactly when the AI says to exit. This is what the AI is programmed to do. And by the way, it will do it with real money as well as with simulated money. Okay, so it does both of that. It's just that, Krish, in terms of today, you are seeing a day that there's only 7 trades total. Usually there's more, and it just wasn't that exciting and eventful of a day, but that's part of the understanding of how to deal with this type of trading, is that if you're expecting winning every day, it's just completely impossible. The AI has off days. There's just no other way around it. And if you ever watch professional poker or anything like that, you understand that a lot of it really has to do with managing the risk. The key here is the AI has stops and different types of exits that prevent you from getting into a position where all of a sudden you're stuck in it. And that's the one thing that kills every single investor. Every death of an investor is the same. You don't die by making profits and then moving on and making more profits. No, because you become more active. That's why investors, eventually, the better they get, the more active they become. Okay? You die by getting into a position, you think you got it all figured out, but when it moves against you, you're like, okay, it's fine, but then ultimately it starts really to accelerate against you, and you're just like, freeze. That is the death of investors. Everybody's death is the same. It goes back to a very good parable about the 4 types of losses that exist in financial trading. These losses are, 4 types of trading situations. They are the big win, the small loss, and the big loss. If you can eliminate the big loss, you've won already. Okay. So Krish, on the Q&A, I don't dive into the accounting of the AI, but if you shoot us an email to info@trade-ideas.com, we have lots of information on the site where you can see a lot of the AI performance data. Okay, and once again, we are the only vendor in the world that even does anything remotely like this, that has a system that they put out there for people to monitor and watch. And, you know, if Goldman Sachs was looking at it, in theory, they could trade against this if they wanted. They don't, because it does a little too good. That's just how it works. It's the beauty of statistical rules-based system that are learning as we speak. One of the really cool things that we discuss here is that while I'm doing this presentation for you, the servers are crunching data in real time. They are performing what we call the combine, the quantitative combine. And the quantitative combine is really about figuring out what's going to work tomorrow. What is going to be the setup for tomorrow's AI-based trading? They're crunching up to millions of potential simulated trades to get to the ones that we're going to see tomorrow that hopefully are going to be very big winners. And we have had some amazing winners. If you want to dive into that data, and again, I think you just have to send us an email and we'll show you. So what I'm doing now is I'm moving on to a channel called Shall We Play a Game? And this is where investors interface with the market for real. This is for real, you guys. Okay, how do I know it's for real? Where it says Brokerage Plus connected to Interactive Brokers. Of course, the market closed an hour ago, so that you know that the market's closed. But this is let's take a quick look at the things that I'm doing. Thanks, Mike. I mean, you know, I can't help what the internet's doing. Hopefully it's catching at a good point. But what I like to show people is that I like to lead by example. One of the things that I do that all active investors should do is figure out how to trade the downside. Okay, so here I am trading Twitter. Let's see, like right around 46.23. So you can see I have about $1,700 worth of P&L in here, and I'm just trying to see if this trade develops. So I'm sort of doing the same stuff that we have the AI doing. We kind of look at these supply and demand wedges, is what you would call it. You know, you can draw trend lines on the charts, but you can kind of see it. It's a very sharp rising trend, and doing just a little bit of closet psychology. Okay, you know, I can only say that as a psychiatrist, okay, there's going to be lots of guys, or funds in this case, who are holding to gains in this stock that are almost at the top of the year. So, I mean, they're up as much as they've ever been up. So that means they've got roughly October and November and December so 3 months to lock it in, or of course, get more. But from a psychological point of view, I'm just simply saying lots of people who have won might start to lock in some of these profits as we approach the more volatile times with the election. So I'm playing the downside, and so far it has been rewarding. I got a decent trade in Kodak going on right now. And once again, do you guys see what's happening here? These are the same kind of flag or wedge type of patterns where you see a huge volume spike come in and then obviously completely deflated. And I wish I was in this down move, and I was not. It's a shame that I wasn't. But then another spike, another deflate, and then another spike. And this one, it's consolidating at this upper end of the range. It looks like, it feels like that whatever it is that was the news here, and it was something more than just simply a $750 million loan, because it propelled this thing to $60. So I'm seeing that kind of a retest. Like, the way it's pulling. Again, could I be wrong? Of course, but look at what I have here. You see there's an exit button. It's called the swing exit. Okay? And that's the thing that I wanted to really pull in, is that how the software is working with you no matter what. Now, in this case, I'm actually in Kodak, but what if I was in, let's say, Apple? I'm not, but what if I was? Well, if I was, then software would say, well, Dan, your panic button's right around 102.93. So you don't want to get to the panic button. And remember what I said about my slide. I don't know if I'm a genius or just surrounded by stupid people. When you're surrounded by stupid people are the ones that when it breaks below here, they don't exit saying, well, this is Apple, it's coming back. That is like signing your own death warrant. And this is why we put these things built in to any stock, any chart. Okay, notice we have intraday stops. Okay, guys, if it goes below this level, kind of start to question what's going on. So we have one intraday and we have one long-term for every single stock. You can pull it up. Let's say NVIDIA. Okay, fantastic. Here's the stop. Put in Netflix. Here's your stop. It came close to touching it, but didn't stay below it virtually at all. So this is what separates the Trade Ideas software from all of the other software that you're going to run into, is that whenever, as you're looking for these ideas, not only do you have the ideas, but you have the two levels. Here's my short-term exit. Obviously, here's what it would look like on a graph. The day trade kind of, and all a day trade is a trade that you get into, that you stay into because hopefully you're positive. Okay. And here's your longer term exit, 107. Think about that for a minute as you contemplate vendors and challenging the slopes of this incredible wealth generating engine called the US stock market. Okay. Who else is not throwing the smoke and mirrors of the indicators? Have I plotted and pull up one single indicator? Why? Because they're just, I mean, there's a moving average in here, guys. And, you know, if I expand this out a little bit, you can see we have an SMA. You know, your psychiatrist, Mr. Mrs. whoever, let's re-talk about this level. We're at a level we don't like. Okay, so this is what Trade Ideas does better than anybody else. We've got all the charts. We've got all the real time. We have the coolest data out there. Not only that, okay, but I'm going to disconnect from my interactive brokerage. So now I'm not connected. Now I'm going to connect to my simulated trading. So here, the beauty here is that I can kind of work on feeling things out in simulation mode and then translate it to my actual account. So you can always go back and forth. You can try a position out and see what it looks like, see if it actually will or won't work. This is symbiosis. It's when the software and you are working together to make you better because of the constant feedback system. Constant loop, constant feedback, improving your wherewithal. So one of the things that I point out to people is that most people have no idea how to make money in the stock market. Why? Because they've never seen it. Okay. So here's an example. You guys are like, oh, Dan, well, what's going on with you, man? You're down 2,900. Why don't you get out? But I'm trying to explain to you guys that I'm actually closed $15,000 in P&L while working out my other positions. So you get this feedback that you otherwise wouldn't have had. If you approach it from the traditional current state of the brokerage world, which gives you some P&L today, nothing else, and doesn't really show you how you're graphing yourself. Are you doing better? Are you doing worse? Where is your points of pain? Okay. And here, once again, you know, you can really have a very good picture of where you need to work and the overall assessment. Like, this is why somebody in this position is just not panicked. And I would say that not panicking in the stock market, once again, is probably the most critical thing you're going to get to learn about yourself and interacting with technology as you're trying to hunt for unusual returns. Because you're going to see things that are going to tempt you and will bring out the worst in you if you don't know how to work with it before, you know, so that you understand that what this is versus this and how to read all of these data points. So Jim, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure that if you send a help ticket question, so that was one of the things that everyone should know here is we stand out on the support side. And because again, the audio has been kind of crappy, I'm gonna get back to the presentation. By the way, everyone can still hear me, right? Hopefully. Okay, thank you, Mike. Yeah, I'm sorry about that today. So Stephen, my favorite window is the Brokerage Plus window because that's where I interact. You have sort of, if you're really trading, that has to be your favorite window because that's where the money is, okay? Now, in terms of where do I find my best ideas, it's a combination of my own stuff and the AI, and I'm constantly working back and forth in between. And what usually happens, the reason I don't participate in stuff, guys, is I run out of buying power. Yeah. If you're not using your buying power in a margin account, you're missing out on the whole point of why you're in this game. So support and answers to like questions that Jim had about resizing charts and things like that. We have an unparalleled support infrastructure from videos on YouTube to daily support sessions, availability for one-on-one, and a very active help desk that is engaged as we speak. Okay. Starting with a great way to interact with anything trade ideas related is Barry's Trading Room, and Barry's been kind enough to help us during Brad's absenteeism from the Q&A, answering your questions and things like that. You can find Barry during market hours putting on his superhero outfit, the Canadian Batman, trade-ideas.com/trading room. Barry will help save the day. Are you in some positions that you shouldn't be in? Barry could tell you. You shouldn't be in those positions. Maybe with a different accent, but something to that effect. So once again, like a meritocracy and a community that helps one another. I recommend this highly, and it's free, completely free. Okay, no subscription, nothing. So someone just asked, what do I mean using buying power? Okay, so in a margin account, if your account is, let's say, below 100,000 but above 25,000, you have what's called 2-to-1 margin. So if you had $50,000, you could buy up to $100,000 worth of stock. Okay. Yeah, a margin is the only way to trade, guys. If you're not using margin, the only reason why people don't use margin is, for example, if they trade in their 401k, which I do as well. I have a self-directed 401k where I buy stocks and I trade them not as actively as I do here, but same thing. You get in, you hope that you don't have to get out, but if you do, you get out. And that's all cash. So no margin, but margin is the way you turbocharge your returns, but of course it can also be the same way with the losses. So you do have to use your brains. I have some custom formulas, Steve, in my windows, but nothing out of the crazy. And you know, we have a formula editor for people that are really interested in some of the scientific parts. You can write your own formulas. Really, quite a powerful suite. Yeah, margin is an incredible thing. It's one of the things that makes the stock market so darn cool. It's not unlike the fact that, for example, in real estate, right? When you buy a house, typically you only put like 10 or 20% down, right? Otherwise there'd be like no real estate buying because nobody has the money. In stocks, it's not exactly like that because you can't, purchase a stock for just 10% of what the stock's value is, but 50. So, and if you have over 100,000, you actually have what's called intraday 4-to-1. So during the day, you can be in $400,000 worth of stocks. It's quite the big boost. And I think that it's something you guys should all investigate. We like to help people on the education side in all different ways, and one of the ways is by investing in your understanding of the overall landscape of the market. Earnings are a big component of it, and we have a book on earnings that's out right now, and we had another one out on the trading the downside. And if you're newer to the market, I recommend that you learn how to trade the downside first. Take that to the bank. Learn the short side before you learn the long side, and you'll be a much better investor. But start on the earnings at trade-ideas.com/earnings. So George, the margin stuff, it's really not that difficult at all. We'll do a video on it. I'll have one of our guys do a video on it, but it's super simple. So trust me, it's one of those things you'd be like, oh, okay. Talking about some of the other questions you all had regarding various aspects of trade ideas. We have a daily support session, trade-ideas.com/live. You can join in, and all levels are covered from the beginning to the expert. So Krish, all of the 3 AIs are available in premium. In the premium part of the software. AI is a premium component, but simulated trading is not. Okay, you can simulate a trade in standard trade ideas as well. We're a subscription-based service. We are doing so well only because we are the best, and this is how much it costs on a per day, although we charge monthly or yearly. And for anybody wanting to take a look, and again, I want to reemphasize this, and I say this often on this particular slide, okay? Without any discount codes, Trade Ideas is roughly $2,200, maybe $2,300 a year. If you can't afford that for the stock market, then the stock market might not be the thing for you. And I feel very comfortable saying that exactly the way I'm saying it. Okay, if this is your pain point, and obviously you guys know that we wouldn't be on the Inc. 5000 if that was the case, but if this is your pain point, well, I'm giving you that insight from the slide, okay? You just found something out about yourself. But for all of you who want to take a look, please use the promo code Fall Savings, 15% off the first month or a year off of Trade Ideas. We have a podcast manned by our good buddy Sean McLaughlin and friends. Used to be run by me and Jamie, but we got fired on our day off, I think it was. Might have to, I'm still the CEO, I think, so I might have to get that back somehow. Who knows? Yeah, so here's the deal. We have open houses that are run sometimes quarterly. It just depends. We're due for one pretty soon, maybe even in October, possibly. Okay, just that we've had such a big on-ramp recently, guys, that the more customers we have, we want to man up our support infrastructure so that we can service you well. We don't want the bullshit hyper growth. So our open house is the way we give people sort of free trial. It's a full premium product for $8.88 for 2 weeks. But you can try it for a month, and that's your trial. Once again, no free lunch. You don't want it to be free. If it was free, you wouldn't use it. You know it, and I know it. Okay? Pay for it. You'll actually put some attention to it. Consider that as the gift of Psychology 101 today. Very easy to get a hold of us on social media. We are pretty active at Trade Ideas, at QuantBot, at Today Trader. Please like us on all the grams of Instas and everywhere else that people, there's so many things today, I don't even know where you should like us all. Like us everywhere. Please shoot us an email at info@trade-ideas.com if you have any specific questions, or of course, give us a call at the number right there. Yes, the AI is the premium product, but you also have other features. There's more charts that you can open, some other kind of higher end things, that higher end stuff like what's called red and green bar ignore windows, which are kind of fancy formulas and other things. And I think there's a pretty good breakdown on the website in terms of functionality. But listen, standard trade ideas ain't no slouch either. So absolutely, George, 100%. And that's why we built the platform around that. Like, we know that indicators and most technical analysis is a little bit of a sleight of hand, and not saying that there's like ill intent, it's just that it doesn't do anything. There's just only so much you can do, because ultimately there's no one thing. Even our super AI, right? It makes mistakes. And if it can make mistakes, then the key is to focus on your money. And that's what we help you do better than anybody else out there. So I want to thank everybody for taking their time with us today. Scott, I think we're all good.
Yeah, we sure are. And thanks for bearing with the audio difficulties. There's some power issues out here in the West Coast. But yeah, stay tuned tomorrow to your email. You get an email update with link to the replay, so you can find it on the YouTube channel. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Barry. Take care.